You want to know what to sell on Amazon to get the results you see everyone else hitting. Those orange bars are nice, but I know what it's like looking for product for days on end and not knowing what to buy. So how do you know what products will actually make you money and which ones you should avoid? Well, the first thing you need to know is what you're looking for. I sell everything and anything, but these are some categories that absolutely print. First, let's talk about grocery, not groceries. Basically, what I'm talking about here are food items that don't need to be climate controlled. I'm not talking about produce or things in the freezer or refrigerator section. I'm talking about things like snacks, coffee, K-Pods, teas, drinks, and really anything that can be shipped easily and preferably is replenishable. Think about your snacks that people love and they already have a loyal customer base, all right? Things that kids are packing for lunch, husbands are taking for work, wives are putting in their purse while they're out shopping. Put yourself in the mind of a consumer and think, is this grocery item replenishable? Do people like it already? Because you don't want to have to run ads, right? We're not doing private label here, we're doing online arbitrage where we're just buying name brand products that are already doing well and putting them into our store. So to take out some of that hassle, finding these brands that already have a cult following is going to give you a huge leg up, so you don't have to find as many products over and over again, and you can just keep restocking some of the products that you're already finding. So grocery is huge, a lot of money to be made here, very easy to ungate most of the time. A good website to find these deals at is iHerb, Vitacost, Walmart, and if you live in Texas, HEB. Second thing after grocery is you're gonna want to swing with the seasons. Basically ride the wave of whatever is selling well right now. A good example is right now it's August and it's back to school. All right, and if I was getting into Amazon right now and I wanted to look for products to put into my store, I'm looking for things like Crayola, school supplies, scissors, backpacks, things that people need and are obviously gonna buy over and over again throughout the next 6 to 8 months. Now, thirdly, let's talk about replenishables. This is a huge part of being an Amazon seller, knowing what customers are buying over and over throughout the year. This is why when you're looking on Seller Amp and Keepa, you're not just looking at, oh, this product made 1,000 sales per month. That's awesome. But if all you see is 1,000 sales this month and last month it was at 20 sales and the month before that it was at 30 sales and the month before that it was at 20 sales again, there may be something going on with that product that it's only selling good right now. Or maybe it's a very seasonal product. For example, during Christmas time, you're gonna be selling lots of these Christmas themed products. During Halloween time, you're gonna be selling a lot of Halloween themed products. So if you look at your Keepa charts during Halloween and you find a Halloween item, it may say it's selling 1,000 times per month. But if you buy that product after Halloween, there's a good chance you're not gonna make that many sales and it's not going to be selling as aggressively as it was before. But when you're thinking about replenishables, think about everyday items, household products, things that people use over and over. Some things that come to mind are like pool chemicals, hygiene, sunscreen during the summer, things like that that people are going to use over and over because we're looking for more long-term value, not just can I buy this right now and sell it right now. That's great, and there's good money to be made in that strategy, but you also need to have a long-term strategy as well, so that way you're not just buying things, so that way you start to build a store of items that you can buy and sell on a long-term basis. The more items that you buy that aren't good for a long term, the more sourcing you're gonna have to do. You're gonna have to constantly be finding products to put into your store, constantly on a race to find the next product. What can I buy next? Whereas if you get a long-term item that is doing well over time, you're good and you're gonna start to build a store that gives you a little bit more freedom. Now make sure you're staying away from products that are big and bulky, are really hard to ship, because this is a mistake that I made in the beginning, was buying products that were profitable, yes, but just a hassle to ship, all right? As a beginner, you wanna make this as easy as possible on yourself. And part of making it easy on yourself is buying things that are easily shipped out, easy to pack, easy to deal with, right? And also on top of this, you wanna make sure you're not buying products that are gonna get returned very frequently. As an Amazon seller, we know that customers can return, right? We expect that at a certain level. But buying things like, for example, fragrances, that's return city. You do not want to take the risk on fragrances whenever you're first starting out, because just think about it. Customers can't smell the scent through the screen, right? So they get these fragrances. Once they get them, maybe they didn't like them as much as they thought they would, and then so they return them. Same thing with big electronics, etc. You want to stay away from things that can get returned very easily. or that you want to stay away from things that get returned very frequently, just to keep your own peace of mind. You want to make sure the money that you see coming in is the money that you're going to keep. You don't want to deal with 30% of your inventory getting returned and then you got to try and sell it again. Now, once you know what categories to stay away from and what categories are good, this is only the beginning, because you don't necessarily want to stay away from all the other categories. This is just a guideline of what looks good, and you'll start building your own eye of the products that you want to buy. But now you need to start looking at sales per month versus the competition. A lot of people, when they first start, they want to know how many sales per month is enough and how much competition is too much competition. Now, when you talk about these things alone, they really don't mean much, because there is no amount of sales per month that's too much. There's also not a number of competition that's too much, number of sellers on the listing already. But what you need to think about is the sales per month versus the competition, right? So if you have 100 sales per month, but you have 100 people selling that product already, there's obviously no room for growth. You're not going to be able to buy into that product and make a bunch of sales. Whereas if you have 100 sales per month and 5 people selling it, obviously there's some room for money to be made there. But the vice versa, you could have a product that's selling 10K times per month. If you have already 1,500 people selling it, which I've never seen that many people selling, that's just as an example. But my rule of thumb is you want to take the number of sellers already on the listing, right? So the number of offers, times that by 10, and you want to have at least that many sales per month. So for example, if there's 10 sellers on an item, right, you want to have at least 100 sales per month. If there's 25 sellers on an item, you want to have at least 250 sales per month. This way you have the room to at least make 10 sales a month. And if you can do that, then you can bully your way in and get more sales than that. But really, there's nothing worth going lower than having 10x the sales per month as the number of sellers. All right. Very simple way of doing it that I like looking at products for, because a lot of these products are going to be saturated and you have to know which ones not to buy into. Because if you do, you're going to become one of those people who says Amazon's saturated, you can't make any sales. It's just because they're buying the wrong products. All right. So stay away from products that have less than 10x sales than the number of people selling that product. Now, where are we buying these products from? All right, this goes into what makes a good product, because if you're buying a good product from a bogus website, you may not even get the product. You may get scammed, you may get the wrong product, right? So where you're buying it from goes heavily into what makes a good product. So let's talk about where you're buying these products from. Now, I love buying from brand websites, all right? This is one of my favorite methods to find profit, is just going directly to the brand, whatever the brand is. Let's say, for example, Dr. Bronner's. You go directly to the brand website if you found a good product from Dr. Bronner's and see if it's there first. Because a lot of these brand websites will give you a good discount buying in bulk from them, all right, or even making your first order from them. There's a ton of brand websites out there that will give you 10, 15, 20% off of your first order. And you can keep making your first orders, right? You can continue to make emails, different emails, so that way that you can sign up over and over again, having your first order placed on that website. Now, outside of brand websites, you just want to make sure that you're buying from a legit company. And always, it's better to be safer than sorry, right? So if you're buying from Walmart, Target, Home Depot, Walgreens, obviously these are places that we know. These are places that are based in the US, that have good reputation, and you're gonna get the item that you're buying, right? But if you don't know the website, it's better safe than sorry. You don't wanna spend money on a website and just not get your product or get scammed, all right? Another thing is you can always look them up on Reddit or look them up on the internet to just see if other people have good experience, bad experience with them, etc. And make sure you're making it easy on yourself by buying easy to ship items in the beginning that don't require prep, all right? So for example, if you find a listing on Amazon that's a 2-pack, right? Or a 3-pack, anything over a single item, you're going to have to polybag it, all right? Which means you're gonna have to stick it in a clear plastic bag with a suffocation warning on it. You're gonna have to put another sticker on it that says sold as a set, and that's the way you send it into Amazon. If you're selling powder or grains or anything like that, you're going to have to send it in a poly bag because they don't want it spilling everywhere. If you're selling something that's glass, you're gonna have to put it in a padded envelope and send it into FDA. And all these can lead to more costs in the beginning. You're having to buy extra supplies, more work that you didn't really know about. So in the beginning, to avoid all of this, buy easy to ship items that are single units that you don't need to prep, all right? Something that you can just buy, put it back in the box and send it into Amazon, because that process is really easy. For example, if you buy an item that doesn't need any prep, let's say for example, a pack of Crayola colored pencils, right? 12 pack. You buy these, once they get to your house, all you gotta do is take them out of the box, put the new SKU label on them so Amazon knows to pay you when they sell, put them back in the box that they came in and send them into Amazon. You don't need any extra packing materials. You don't need a box. You don't need anything. Really, you just need to label them with your labels and send them into Amazon. All right, this is how easy it is when there's no prep needed. You can send products in any branded box whenever you're sending them directly to Amazon. It changes a little if you're sending directly to a customer, right? If you're doing FBM. But if you're sending directly into the Amazon warehouse, it's very easy as long as you're getting these items that don't need any prep, all right? So make sure you're making it easy on yourself. You can quickly build a six-figure business on top of these products the same way that I did. There's nothing standing in the way of you buying these and putting them into your store and making sales off of them. I know because I show students how to do this all the time. All students of mine that have executed the same blueprint. This is absolutely possible for anyone. Amazon is just knowing what products to buy, putting them into your store and making sales. Really, that's the easy part. The harder part is investing back into the business and keeping it going, finding more product leads all the time and keeping the ones that you have in stock. If you want me to help you start and scale your store and you want to join the one-on-one mentorship, I'll put my Instagram link down below in the description. You can DM me anytime or you can just join the mentorship. I'll put that link down below too. And let's get to work. There is so much money to be made and thousands of products to make money on Amazon. All right, flipping products literally took me from a broke warehouse worker living paycheck to paycheck, I've worked every job under the sun. I've been a waiter, I've been a construction worker, I've worked in warehouses, I've done Uber and Lyft, and this took me out of it. Once I was able to focus on this business model, find products on a consistent basis and put them into my store and make money, everything else I was able to live on my own terms. So find your products, know what you're looking for, and as always, sell things online and make lots of money.